Okay, third time's a charm. If I don't get this right, I'm just gonna throw in the bin. No, I'm kidding. Right, hey friends, how's it going? So I hope you've all been enjoying this beautiful day. It's been absolutely gorgeous. I've been on the beach. I've been sat on the nudist beach today in Brighton, and I loved it. Right, so this video is going to be all about working in a sauna. I mentioned in my last video, if you watched it, that I was like, oh, I work in a sauna, and I'll talk about that, and then I just didn't. So I thought I'd make a video. I will try not to ramble too much. I probably will. I will probably forget things because I've done this twice now already. So anyway, we'll get to it. So I work in an all-male sauna in Brighton, and I've been there since the end of 2014, nearly, so basically about 3.5 years. I apologise for the traffic. I am back onto main road. Anyway, I've been there for 3.5 years. I ended up getting the job there through a friend of mine, who I still work with now, and I needed a job at the time. I was sofa surfing, and yeah, that's how I got into it. I didn't sort of go into it thinking, I know, I'll go and clean around people having sex for a living, but whatever. And anyway, so I had never heard of saunas. I have never really been a part of like gay culture at all, or gone out onto like gay scenes very much, or anything like that. You know, I don't come from like the lesbian community or anything. So I never heard of saunas, and so I asked my friend about them, and he was like, well, this is the things that happen there, these are the kind of things we have to do, etc. And I was just like, that doesn't sound too bad, I'll apply. And I was sort of thinking, God, is he even going to accept me? But anyway, James put in a good word for me, and my now boss called, emailed me and said, hey, come down for an interview, etc. And I was like, cool, that's awesome. So I brought all my documents and ID and all that crap with me, and he asked me for them straight away. And at that point, I was just like, do I say something? Do I out myself? Like, I had no idea if I was going to out myself or not. And yeah, so that kind of threw me into the deep end. So I'm handing him my passport, which at the time was in my old name. So I had my passport, my deed poll with like my old and my new name on it, or my current name, and I was like, look, I've changed my name. This is my deed poll with my current name on, and blah blah blah. And he was like, oh, why have you changed your name? You know, did you get married or whatever? And I am terrible at making shit up on the spot. So I just kind of looked him dead in the eye and I said, well, to be honest with you, it's because I'm trans, and that's the kind of thing we tend to do. And there's this really kind of pregnant pause. And he went, okay. And then sort of looked away, and then kind of looked back at me like he was deep in thought. And then he just went, well, guess we'll just have to write some policy about that then, won't we? And then we just carried on and did more interviewee questions and stuff. And I was talking to him about like the community work I'd done, and working at like fetish markets and stuff, and that I'd done sexual health work a bit in the past, and all this kind of stuff. And anyway, by the end of it, he was like, "Well, Jack, the job's yours if you want it." And I said, "Thank you very much, I'll take it." And that was how I became a sauna boy. And he was really great. My boss is really cool. He was like, do you want me to tell people? Do you want to tell people? And I said, no, it's fine. I'll tell people. I don't give a shit. I'm pretty open about it. And yeah, so I ended up outing myself to all my colleagues and things. And I heard on the Gay Vine reasonably quickly that there was one or two of them that thought, you ain't going to last a month. And he eventually became a manager for a couple of years, but one of the guys that trained me told me about it, and I just sort of said, we'll see. And that made me want to work even harder to become even better at the job. I wanted to be like the best, not the best one there, but kind of, because I wanted to be good at the job, and I enjoyed the work, and also like I just wanted to prove everybody wrong. That I was like I deserved to be there as much as anybody. And at the time, I was still looking really androgynous. I didn't have any of this. My voice was a bit more kind of teenagery, still a bit teenagery now, but less so. And all that kind of stuff. So I was looking a lot more kind of. I didn't pass terribly well. Maybe only about half the time. And if I did, everybody thought I was about 14, which is really annoying. But anyway, so and so the kind of the main things I came up against in the first 6 months were, the guys I worked with, and feeling like I had to prove myself, and also like the customers, like meeting all the customers, and pretty much every shift for the first 6 months I did, at least one of them would be like, oh hey, it must be really weird like being a girl working in all-male sauna, or oh hey, it must be really weird being a dyke and working in all-male sauna and all this. And each time, again, because I'm crap at making shit up on the spot, I just said, well, actually it's because I'm trans, I'm female to male trans, but I can understand why you might think that. And they'd all go, oh my god, really? I've never heard of that before. Can I ask you about it? And so I got this inevitable barrage of questions about it. And, some of them were worded in a really offensive way. Some of them were not. But maybe bar a few of them, most of the guys were really well-meaning. They just kind of wanted to learn. So I ended up becoming an educator almost. Well, I did. I became an educator. I became a grassroots activist almost. So yeah, it was really tiring, but a lot of the guys were all right and reasonably respectful, and gave me an opportunity to educate a lot of guys on language to use and how, what is a good way to kind of talk about this kind of subject, and hopefully and just sort of steer them in the right kind of direction. So it gave me this platform to do that, which was really cool, actually. And as tiring and frustrating at times as it was, I'm really glad that I got to do that, because I hope I've made a small difference in my local community, and hopefully made the path easier for other trans men who come after me. Anyway, the other thing that I kind of came up against at the sauna, not come up against is the wrong word. The other thing that I came across at the sauna, and that I got out of it, because I've gotten so much out of being there. Not only the skills I've learned being a sauna boy, which basically is like being a therapist and a cleaner and a carer and a doorman and all kinds. You learn all kinds of things, especially when you do night shifts in a sauna. You learn all sorts of things. But the other thing it kind of allowed me to do was to observe loads of different kinds of guys, like different personalities, different body types and all sorts. So it gave me this wonderful kind of way to observe how men interact with other men, and it allowed me to learn really quickly how to talk to other men as a man, and learn those kinds of social habits, really. And that was a really wonderful kind of opportunity, and it was really helpful in a lot of ways. It helped me with my own kind of body dysphoria, because eventually I was just like, hey, all these different guys of different body types, shapes, whatever, they're all getting some. That means somebody's going to be interested in me, because at the time I was kind of convinced that no gay man or no cis gay man would ever kind of come near me, but actually that's not true. And it really kind of allowed me to get more comfortable in my body, get more confidence in my body, and if nothing else, it really helped me kind of work out what kind of man I was, what kind of man I want to be, and I could kind of observe like gay and male culture and kind of go, okay, these are some really great things. I want to embody these things. These are the less good things. I don't want to embody these things. So it was kind of like this wonderful crash course, really, in male culture, and yeah, being able to kind of pick and choose the bits I liked, I guess. So that was a really cool thing. You know, I really enjoy being there. As stupid as that might seem, you know, people kind of look at it and think, oh, it's just shitty service industry job, but it's not. You know, like I say, there's a lot to being a sauna boy, a lot more than what people see. You know, people just see kind of letting them in the door and folding towels and getting them a snack or whatever, or doing a bit of cleaning, but there's quite a bit to it. There's a lot of soft skills involved with being a sauna boy. Yeah, so you know, being there, I've gotten a lot out of, and you know, and I hope that it's allowed me to be a better activist. I think, in that it taught me how to speak to different people on different levels, and it taught me when to use carrot, when to use stick. It taught me how to pick my battles and when to pick my battles, and just where to kind of put my energy. And it taught me that most people are not horrible people. You know, they're not. They're tiring. Sometimes people are tiring and they say stupid shit, but they're not horrible people. And it reminded me, you know, of all the stupid shit I used to say and come out with when I knew nothing about this on my own journey. You know, and so yeah, so it taught me a great deal of patience. It taught me a lot about different kinds of activism, when to use different kinds of activism, how to talk to different people. Yeah, so yeah, being at the sauna has taught me a lot, and I've gotten a lot out of it. And here I am 3.5 years later, and I've proved everybody wrong. You know, all those people who said, oh, you're going to quit after a month, you won't handle it. And I've been doing, you know, the night shifts there for just over 3 years now, which is the longest anybody's ever done the night shifts continuously. So I'm the current record holder for that. Yeah, so, you know, I kind of love it, and I hope that there are more guys who come after me. And I hope that I've made a difference there in, yeah, like I said, making it easier for guys who, you know, to come after me, and hopefully just to educate the community. And, you know, now I feel like I've made some kind of progress, because now I run my own trans only night there, which I'm totally going to pimp, by the way. So the trans only night is at the Brighton Sauna. It is every fourth Monday of the month from 6 o'clock onwards. And it is for trans people and, you know, significant other family, friends, allies, etc. So, you know, as your invited guest, so it could be your partner or friend or some support person if you want, or you just turn up by yourself or with friends, whatever, I don't mind. So I wanted to create a really good body positive and sex positive space for trans people where, you know, you can use a sauna and a jacuzzi and what have you and not be harassed. So I was really adamant about that. The community, a lot of the community I spoke to were really adamant that it would be trans only, and it is. So we have an entire sauna all to ourselves for, you know, from 6 o'clock till close, which is a really cool thing, I think. And I don't know of any other saunas that do this. And I've done you know, I've looked a little bit, and I don't know any other saunas that do a trans only night that's not like a chaser night or a tranny night or Tigo night, or because loads of them do that, but there's none that are trans-specific. You can be any flavour of trans, so trans, non-binary, whatever, and you can come along. You don't need to have had any kind of surgery or anything. You could wear like a swimming costume, you could bind, you could, you know, walk around naked for all I give a shit. I mean, I often do. Yeah, so it's a really cool kind of relaxed environment. You know, there you know, pens you can write your pronouns on yourself with if you want to, and just all kinds of things. You know, there's like a safe spaces policy we have dotted around everywhere. We encourage everybody to read. you know, all the guys that work on it all had some kind of training from me about it, and you know, they all know their shit. They know how to be respectful and not be assholes. Because, like I said, I've gotten pretty well trained after 3 odd years now. So yeah, so it'd be really cool to see you there if you want to come along. Yeah. Anyway, so I've probably forgotten some stuff. I've probably left out some things. I can't remember. This is the third time I've made this now. If there's any questions you have about, if you know, going into a sauna, if you're a trans guy, trans masculine, etc., and you're curious about going into gay saunas, send me a message or a comment. If you're a cis guy and you've never been to a sauna and you're curious about how it all works, again, leave a comment, don't mind. Yeah, that's about it. So that is my experience of working at a sauna. Overall, it's been really great. My boss is really great, and my co-workers are really great, and most of the community has been pretty good. It's overall been a reasonably positive experience, I would say. I've said I've been there for 3.5 years, which is the longest I've had any kind of paid employment, actually. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. I've tried to make this short and it wasn't. So I will see you all another time. I'm going to try and upload a video every Wednesday if I can, or every other Wednesday, I don't know yet. Yeah, bye.